Hey, this is guitarist Eric Skye with my 30-day guitar challenge. If you're coming into this midstream, somewhere in this link you should find your way back to the introduction to get an idea of what we're trying to do here. So maybe check that out. But the basic idea is trying to think of 30 challenges or maybe just thoughts, rants, rambles about things that you can do to maybe take your playing to another level that don't involve learning new scales or chords or tunes and things like that. Not that that's bad, but just we're exploring the other end of it a little bit. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about posture and like just the physicality of playing the instrument, staying strong and staying healthy and preventing injury. I guess I'll preface by saying I'm not really an expert on this stuff. There's probably many more knowledgeable people out there, but as our challenge of the day, we're just going to say, let's really think about it and look into it. And I'll share my own thoughts and experiences with you. The first thing that you might notice, because I get asked about it more and more, is the fact that I use what I kind of call a kickstand for my guitar here. This is pretty new within the last, say, year and a half or so. For years and years, I would just do weird combinations of sort of crossing my leg or putting my leg up on something, put my leg on top of my other leg. But inevitably, I would pretty much always look like this when I was playing guitar. And after some comments I saw online and stuff, it really made me think, together with the fact that my back is now just, it's been bothering me and stuff, or was bothering me before I got this thing, that I thought I would really take some time and think about this stuff. So it's made a pretty big difference. So I really like this thing a lot. It's called a neck up. I think it's made in Vancouver, Washington, right across the river from here. And it just uses a little suction cup here, and then it kind of attaches on the end pin. And basically it's like a strap. And, it's kind of if I was wearing a strap, this is kind of where the guitar would probably fall. Or maybe it's like if you were a classical guy and you had a footstool or something. But it's really putting this guitar in a place that I can't really, lean over if I wanted to. So it's really kind of keeping my back pretty straight, which is good. And it's accomplishing what I think all the hunching and other things are trying to accomplish, which is putting the guitar in the foreground, just sort of having it close by so I'm not in any kind of, bending my limbs in order to play it, or and then for the times that I am looking at the neck, it's just sort of right here. So this has been really good for me. I also have a little classical guitar pillow. I don't remember what they're called, but you can buy those things, and that's something to think about. I have students who use straps, but again, the challenge today is think about this and check out your posture and see if you can get into a playing position that's still comfortable, and yet it's kind of less contorting to your back and stuff to be able to see and do what you do on the guitar. That said, I still play on the couch and stuff and get into positions that probably don't look that healthy when I'm practicing sometimes, but I do still use this, and that kind of keeps me from arching over. So that seems to be kind of the main thing. And again, I'll cop out and say there's plenty of great videos out there, probably from the classical guys about, more sort of proper technique and, but I'll just give you how I think about it. I mean, for me, I'm just always trying to keep this wrist fairly straight. I have had issues in the past. I've never had a problem my whole life with my right arm or right fingers or anything like that at all, but I have had some left-hand stuff. I had a bout of tendonitis, golfer's elbow, which is sort of on the inside here, as opposed to tennis elbow, which is on the outside. And I did battle that for a while, and that was a little bit scary. And the end result of that was really that a couple things. One, that I was probably bending my wrist too much, so getting this guitar or getting the neck up device to get the guitar up was really helpful for that. So that seems to help a lot. The other thing is I worked with two different occupational therapists who kind of reset my thinking about my arms in general. For example, one thing that she said that really stuck with me is there's really no reason to hold things unnecessarily. Like, so for example, if I just made a giant pot of pasta for the kids at dinner and I'm walking around the table with this, probably 35-pound stainless steel pot and serving everybody. So I'm holding this thing out there. I mean, that's taking a lot of sort of strength and a lot of stress on those tendons. And, all day long, I mean, if you're walking around holding a giant heavy book, I mean, so I'm more conscious now of just sort of putting things down and not holding things unnecessarily, because, what keeps your wrist sort of afloat here is by the tendons down in the elbow. So that's how you kind of run into problems. The big one for me was actually my iPad. I figured out for a long time there that I was just sort of holding it in a way that was, I could have sort of placed it on my lap or on a table, but I was really holding it, and I started getting a lot of trouble in there. Anyway, since I corrected those things, I'm back in good shape. Also, the only place I've had problems is with my middle finger, which I also sort of attributed to electronic devices, because I have my phone here. For a long time, I realized when I'm holding my phone, I'm really kind of, I now know there's actually something called the iPhone claw. You can look that up. That's like an official diagnosis for occupational therapists. But if you're sort of holding it and sort of grabbing it with your fingers like that, and you could sit there for 2 hours after a few hours of playing guitar. Anyway, I started having pains in that finger, and once I sort of corrected that thing, I got all better. So the moral of the story is just think about things that you're doing away from the guitar and how they could be wearing down your tendons. I know if you're 22, you're thinking, whatever, man. But as you get older, these things do start to wear down, and I want to keep playing as long as I can. So I think a lot about that stuff. For the right hand, I haven't had any right hand problems, so I can't say too much about that. I know some people have had things with their thumb. But in general, I try to kind of use a sort of a classical thing. There are times, since I like to mute the bass, that I'm kind of bending this wrist backwards a little bit, but I'm sort of keeping that in check and making sure I'm not pressing down or flexing the muscles. I'm just sort of doing that. So, in general, I think it's a good idea just to stay healthy. Maybe it's outside the context of guitar stuff, but if you were actively pursuing any other thing and that you wanted to be really good at and you wanted to work on it every day, days that you're sort of feeling crappy or, are less productive. So, I try to walk a lot and, eat well and sleep good too, because that stuff really makes a big difference too if you're just wanting to get the most out of every day and every practice session. So hopefully that's somewhat helpful. Again, the challenge is think about these things and, watch your everyday stuff and your posture and the way you come into the instrument. Stay relaxed and see if that helps a little bit. All right, over and out.